Disclaimer, if I don't say hello, it's because I can't see your messages because 2 a.m. is not too bad. Yeah, no. It'll be like 4 a.m. by the time this is done. You should be in bed. Isn't that right? Yeah, so guys, thanks for joining me. And again, my name is Jackie M. You can find me at jackiem.com.au. I am a former Malaysian restaurateur based here in Sydney, Australia, and I live stream primarily on Twitch, twitch.tv/JackieMFood. All the links are actually up on the overlay on my screen, all right? But also this usually gets pushed out across my other social media platforms as well. So this is currently being streamed. Andrew, how you doing? This is currently being streamed on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Periscope. But the best way to get my attention is on Twitch and probably my Facebook page, all right? So thanks for joining me, and today I'm still on this low carb bent. It's not technically like quite as low carb as some would like, but it is essentially protein. And you guys have heard me talk a lot about how I've got all this chicken stock and chicken juice that I get from these bags of chicken that I use for my business. So I've actually got a bag of chicken to show you what it looks like, all right? And the reason for this exercise is because I'm going to be using the chicken. This is actually leftover from my market stall because I still sell food even though my restaurant is now closed to look after Noah. Noah's over in that corner. So if you hear noises like spinning noises, that's Noah playing with anything round. Like, you know, he has a fixation with trying to spin, and he's trying to distract everyone right now by spinning it. So and yeah, so these are these bags of chicken that I get every week, especially ordered, and they're especially vacuum packed, all right? So I pick them up en route to my market store where I sell a stir-fried noodles, essentially is what it is. And I use the chicken for the chicken version of the stir-fried noodles, and I cook it like a spin away. Yeah, don't encourage him. So this is cooked sous vide style in the bag, right? And it produces this juice, if you can see it. And this is the last remaining bag from my business yesterday. And because the market is now closed for what is the Australian summer, I don't need this for weeks and weeks on end. I could technically freeze this, but I figured I might as well just use it up, all right? So I'm just gonna cut this open, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it into two batches, and I'm essentially cooking them, I'm gonna shred them both, right? And essentially what we're gonna end up with would be shredded chicken. But I'm going to cook them two different styles, okay? There's the Chinese style and the Malay style. So we're gonna do that with these. Hey, Nissan, how you doing? Okay. So this is 1 kilo of chicken, which is equivalent to about 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds actually. All right, so let's cut this open. And we're gonna be careful with the juice. Okay, but every time you see me talk about all this concentrated chicken stock, this is it here, okay? So I usually end up with about 2 liters or about 2 quarts of this every week that I need to use up one way or another. I'll probably end up throwing this lot out because it's just gonna get in the way. All right, so let's split the chicken in 2 halves. Well, you know what, I'm just gonna throw them all together because we're gonna start up by getting this shredded, and I'm going to do a shortcut in terms of shredding this, right? So I'm gonna actually throw all of this in my Thermomix. Hi Links, hey, honestly, exclusively beef. Look, it can be anything, it can be fish even. So there you go. All right, so this is going in my Thermocook, which, as I've mentioned to you guys before, is a multi-function kitchen appliance. So I'm just using this as a blender in this particular instance. So this is all poached chicken breast, okay, diced poached chicken breast. And if you want to do this properly, you really should be shredding it by hand into thin flossy shreds, but it just takes so long. It's so much easier just to blitz it. Learn something new every day. Yeah, I know, right? Some people actually, like one time I was selling chicken rendang at my market stall, and this white woman took offense at the fact that I was doing chicken rendang. She walked away snobbily and said there's no such thing as chicken rendang. She must have assumed that rendang is only beef. But I mean, yeah. People like that who think they know my food better than I do really annoy me. Okay, so let's blitz this. So you're gonna end up with crumbs instead of floss, alright? But look, it works, trust me. Let's have a look. Okay, just a couple more big chunks there that I wanna blitz up. So let's throw it back in. And by the way, guys, congratulations to the 2 winners of my barbecue units. There you go. One's in country New South Wales and one is here in Sydney actually. So congratulations to you guys. Tradition may be down, I know, right? And I forwarded your details to the sponsor. They'll either get in touch with me because I asked them a question. I said, how do you want to move forward with this? And I haven't heard back. So they'll get in touch with you guys directly to organize delivery or pickup, or make it something that's not exclusive to that original something. Yeah, exactly. How have you been, Hirelings? Haven't seen you around for a couple of weeks. Here you go. All right, so this turned into crumbs, right? Like I said, I'm not too fussed about it. I really found that shredding it, the first time I made this, I shredded it by hand. It was so painful, so tedious. And it got quite stringy as well, but obviously that could be the way I cooked it as well. If I cook it too dry, you can end up with really stringy, tough fibers, you know. Okay, I've been good. It was my birthday. Oh, happy birthday! Did you do anything special, or are you gonna do anything special? I was gonna ask, are you old enough to drink yet? But you'd be like, in Australia, you'd be like, yeah. You definitely would be, since 18 years old is the drinking age. I'm going on Saturday instead. So you're gonna miss my campfire stories? Hey Brad, hey, how you doing? Been a while. Alright, so 2 lots of minced chicken, alright? So like I said, we're gonna do it 2 different styles. We'll do the first one, which is Chinese style, alright? I always tell you guys, look, with a lot of recipes, a lot of Asian recipes, I guess this is not so much in this case, but you'll find like the Chinese version and the Malay version or the Indian version, and that applies with like even just like a curry or something like that, okay? So in this particular case, chicken floss, there's the Chinese version, which is fairly basic, alright? I'm gonna throw some garlic into it, but we're gonna mince it too, alright? And the Malay version is almost going to be like a dry minced curry, okay? So that'll be a little bit more interesting. School cancelled tomorrow. What is it, snowing? You seem to get a lot of like breaks with your school. What with the floods before and now like the snow or something. Tomorrow Saturday. He's in America. He's in Alabama. Not Alabama. I always keep thinking you're in Alabama. Where are you again, Brad? Somewhere there anyway. I know you're out the same way as Bella, right? You're not in Kentucky, but like same general part of the USA. All right, let's blitz some garlic. Right, these are fresh garlic cloves. Okay, and I'm gonna do enough for both lots, but the Chinese version of this dish is going to be fairly subtle, as a lot of Chinese dishes compared to Malay and Indian dishes. So there's no spice, and it's mostly just kind of like a chickeny, garlicky. Or I like the garlic. You can leave the garlic out if you want. And sugar and soy sauce, and I'm going to use fish sauce and caramel sauce. All right, which I've talked about at length on a number of occasions, which is this thick soy sauce. Essentially, is what it is. Sweet Home Alabama. Louisiana, that's it. I always confuse Louisiana with Alabama. Alright, so that's the garlic. You're not going to sing to us now, are you, Hirelings? And if you're watching on Periscope, hi guys, I'm not monitoring my Periscope chats because, just because. And thanks for following, Ambit. Okay, let's blitz this. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm not monitoring your chat, so sorry. But YouTube is full of trolls anyway, so I mean, there are some nice people on YouTube, but for every nice comment I get on YouTube, I get about 5 bad ones, right? So I'm nearly like, when I started out on YouTube, I got so many troll comments. I'm just gonna blitz this a touch more. That I disabled comments, and then at some point I thought, look, you know, it's probably affecting my the algorithm if I disable comments on all my videos, right? That YouTube might not want to push it. So I re-enabled comments, and now I'm tempted to actually disable comments again. So does anyone know about Udemy? Yeah. What about it? Are you doing a course there, or are you planning to teach a course there, or tell me about Udemy and I'll tell you about what I'm doing. Would you say it's a good learning tool to learn from? I've never actually learned anything from Udemy, but have you heard of Skillshare? Skillshare.com. I found a discount voucher. If you Google, like anytime you guys want to subscribe to anything online or to buy anything online, right? Just do a quick Google for that particular search word plus discount code, all right? So Skillshare.com is essentially like, I guess like Udemy, but you can sign up as a member where you have access to all their library of like online courses. Okay, these are all video courses, but Skillshare usually costs, I think, about $70 US per year, right? And I found a discount code that gave me 3 months access for 99 cents. All right, so I'm actually plowing through all these Skillshare courses at the moment, and it's pretty good, right? But I might even keep it on afterwards. But yeah, so just Google Skillshare discount code, and they have all kinds of different discount codes online that you can just copy and paste. I'm considering a course there. All right, cool. Yeah, look, you know, I like I said, I've never done Udemy, right? I knew of it as a potential place where I could actually teach courses, right? But I never looked into it. But Skillshare is something where I learn stuff. I mean, I could teach there too if I really wanted to. I don't know if there's much of a demand for what I do. No, I know, right, Brad? He's he's actually starting to get sick. He's been congested the last 2 days, but not sick enough to stay home from school. But his teachers, I've noticed, is a little bit lethargic and a little bit sniffly and whatnot. And he's coughing and whatever as well. So what course are you thinking of doing, Highlinks? Okay. But yeah, Skillshare has everything, like from like web design to like marketing stuff to, you know, filmmaking and like video editing, everything, you know, that you can think of. So I'm just kind of like going through everything there at the moment, trying to get what I can squeeze out of 99 cents. Learn to code by making games complete. See, Unity is okay. You want to learn to code? Let me Google and see if there's any similar on Skillshare. Hang on. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. Where is it? Where's my Skillshare? What is C hash? I thought it used to be C plus, right? Is that the same as C plus, or learn to code by making games? Okay. Learn to code by making games. Okay. Come on, do search. Why is it not searching? I'm just learn to code. I don't know why the screen is not searching at the moment. I'll look it up for you later on. I'll tell you on Discord. But I'm sure. I mean, they've always got like, you know, yeah, coding stuff as well. It's the musical symbol, not hash. Oh, is that right? C#. All right. See, I mean, even when I was working in IT, even when I was an IT consultant, I wasn't actually I wasn't a coder. I wasn't a programmer at all. I was a systems engineer, so I knew nothing about like coding. But yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's handy, you know, like instead of watching TV at night, you know, just kind of get in the habit of like watching you know, a few video lessons and take notes, and they'll keep you on your feet. And I've got like 50 million like language courses as well, which is kind of like my thing, right? So I've saved, I've got like about 70 courses saved in my profile on Skillshare at the moment. Everything from language to video making to photography to design to, you know, like video editing, everything because I'm just greedy, you know. But I just like to actually, not that I expect to do everything myself. Sometimes I do have to, because I mean, I've got zero budget to generally to pay people to do work for me. But I just like to know how things are done, you know, so that I'm not always completely dependent on other people. So I want to actually properly learn how to build a WordPress website from scratch, right? And also properly learn how to edit my own videos. I mean, I do very basic stuff already, but yeah, yeah, look, like I said, I don't really know what Udemy has to offer, but Skillshare has always been considered like the cheap, like the economical version of online learning. The other thing I used to buy classes from is Creative, what's it called again? Creative Live or something like that. And those courses individually will cost like US like $80 or something like that. So I bought a whole bunch of courses there, you know, racked up hundreds of dollars, and I never really completed those courses. Whereas Skillshare was like I said, it's like $60-70 for an annual membership, and like I think $12 per month or something like that. But like I said, yeah, I found a discount code that gave me access for 99 cents for 3 months or 4 months or something. All right, so let's do the Chinese version first. All right, so this is going to be fairly mild, fairly subtle, and the way you use this, you can actually sprinkle it on rice. You can sprinkle the Chinese sprinkle it on porridge, what we call congee, all right, which is a savory porridge. Essentially, like if you imagine like white rice cooked with a lot of water, you get like a watery like mix, and you can season it. You can actually simmer in stock, so it's like kind of like a congee thing, all right, and you would throw some of this over it, and sometimes you can put it as a sandwich filling, or what's popular nowadays with these bakeries, these Asian bakeries, right? You get some of these buns that have these meat floss sprinkled or you know, stuffed in them. But to be fair, they usually use pork, but because I don't eat pork, I use chicken, all right? So let me grab my stove. Okay, bat rolls. What's bat rolls? Is that Vietnamese? That would be different if that's Vietnamese. I don't know that. All right, so let's turn it on. And I want a little bit of oil. Noe? You a good boy? You gonna be a good boy? Not bun. Oh yeah, that'd be the Vietnamese. I've never seen them use this in that, to be honest. Then again, those Vietnamese pork rolls are pork, so I've never actually eaten them myself. But I don't know if they ever use. Hey Zed, how you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, I don't really know if they put them in there, but you've no idea how averse I am to pork. There are a lot of like Asian street food dishes I've never tried because of it, you know. Alright, so in this goes. This is like the shredded poached chicken, right? Let me just move this in view a little bit. Here we go. Alright, let's throw in some garlic. And again, garlic is purely optional, right? But I like my garlic. I think it just adds a nice like flavor to this. Now, one thing I'm missing today, you know my fixation with chicken powder. Okay, this is white pepper. I'm just gonna throw some white pepper. I don't eat mammal, and you're more dedicated to avoiding pork than me. You don't eat mammal, all right. So, but you cheat. Hey! No. See, mommy say no, baby. Why are you so naughty? Why? Hey, look, you make a big mess. Hey. I'm gonna have to mop up the whole floor. Alright, so I've got the pepper. I try not to cheat. Alright, so you know my fixation with chicken powder. I'm out of chicken powder, but I've got mushroom seasoning, which is like the vegetarian version of like chicken seasoning, alright, or chicken powder. And this one is less salty than chicken powder and more sweet. And also, I'm pretty sure it's got more MSG in it as well. Alright, so I've just got like about, so this is half a kilo, so about 1.5 pounds in here of chicken mince, right? With about a sprinkling of mushroom powder. I've got a little bit more here. Mum's always so stubborn about fried rice, having to take such effort to pick it up. Does she use like barbecue pork, or does she actually like just have like poached pork pieces in it? No, I'm so pork averse that yeah. If I know it's got pork in it, I can't get past that mental barrier, you know. Alright, so I'm gonna throw in some fish sauce, alright, but you can use soy sauce if you want to. Now remember, this flavor is not going to be intense, okay, and just go a little bit easy on the seasoning. Michael, hey, how you doing? So I'm gonna throw in this what's labeled as cooking caramel, but what we Asians grew up knowing as thick or black soy sauce. All right. So for branding reasons, this particular brand has changed the name of this product to cooking caramel, but you're not gonna find Asian recipe books asking for cooking caramel. Okay, it's very much a branding thing. We know this as thick soy sauce. And you see how thick it is because you have to hold it and wait for it to drizzle down, okay? This just kind of like gives it like a nice brown hue to the dish, okay? But having said that, the end product of the Chinese version of chicken floss is meant to be quite light colored, okay? It's not meant to be dark the way the Malay version will be, okay? Thick soy kicap manis. No, it's different from kicap manis. Kicap manis is sweet soy sauce, right? But a lot of people get them confused. But I think for this particular recipe, you can actually get away with using kicap manis because you don't need the intensity of color that you get from thick soy sauce, okay? But thick soy sauce is much darker than kicap manis and less sweet, right? So if you were using kicap manis, I would suggest like just being mindful of the sweetness level in this. Okay, so at this point it's basically like you want sugar in this as well. Okay, Noah's just tearing the place down, by the way. You can't see it, but I'm gonna have to sweep and mop the floor at the end of this, which I probably should after every broadcast anyway, but he's knocked a few things over and there's like sprinkles of all kinds of stuff all over the floor. Alright, so you can hear the sizzling and you know there's still moisture in this. The idea is to take out all the moisture so that this will actually be stable at room temperature, okay? You can technically actually at the end of this store it in an airtight container and use it for weeks afterwards. The only worry would be the oil getting rancid, you know what I mean? But like I said, this is like, because this has been pulsed in the food processor, the texture is going to be a little bit different to what you would traditionally find, you know, which is more flossy, okay? So let's throw in some sugar. Now I've mentioned I really want those Hakka noodles. I thought about them today actually, because I've got chicken mince in my fridge and I'm thinking, oh look, you know, I wouldn't mind eating those Hakka noodles. Because remember I told you the last time I made it, right, which I posted a recipe for it, I didn't actually end up eating, like, I ate it the one time and I ended up throwing out the chicken mince because after about 2 weeks it started getting dodgy. So today I was thinking, what I'm going to do with the chicken mince in my fridge, and I was going to make Hakka noodles, but then again, like low carb, you know, so the noodles will completely like kill my diet. So okay, let me just taste test this quickly. Okay, flavor wise it's fine, you don't need to add any more seasoning. In fact, as I'm wont to do, it almost tastes a little bit too salty, okay? Because like I said, this is meant to be like fairly, like, this is meant to be something you can eat by the spoonful if you're being like a, you know, if you're a kid who really likes to eat this sort of stuff. But there are stores in Singapore and Malaysia that sell like just these big tubs of like chicken floss or fish floss or pork floss, and then they'll have like these barbecued slices as well. Chicken, sometimes they're minced, sometimes they're actually sheets, very thinly sliced sheets of meat that are sugary and like really nice, right? And then they barbecue them, and it's what we call in Cantonese long yolk. And yeah, those kinds of stores will sell that. You'll see them with charcoal grills on the outside of their store, or like, or nowadays behind like a glass screen, barbecuing these sheets of meat, right? And then separately they'll have like big jars of like different types of floss. Noe, are you a naughty boy? Are you a naughty pop? Hey? Hey? Are you a naughty pop? Isn't rice good carb, so you could use rice noodle instead? No such thing as good carb. All carb is bad. I'm not, look, I'm not like, you know. Yes, but look, you know, when I was pregnant with Noah, I had to go on this low carb diet, right, by doctor's orders, because turned out I had gestational diabetes, which meant that like my pregnancy could be threatened, right? I wasn't fat or anything like that. It was just that apparently like yeah, you have to go on this low carb diet, and they make you actually send in your like blood sugar readings, like, you know, you have to take blood sugar readings after every meal, and you have to send in the report like to the hospital, okay, so they can tell you what you're doing wrong. But they weren't hardcore about like how much carbs you were allowed to take or whatever, as long as your blood sugar reading was below 10, about 1 hour after your last meal. So I can't remember the specifics now, that's how I remember it. But now, on this next attempt at low carb diets, all the low carb diets online are a little bit more like extreme, like they limit you to like maybe 20 grams of carb per day. But I remember back when I was doing the low carb diet, when I was pregnant with Noah, they did suggest like if you were eating rice, to eat only half a cup of rice with your meal, right? Which is very little if you're Asian, okay? Because we Asians like our rice. I think my mom had gestational diabetes. That was my little sister Abby, not with me. She had, what's PUPS? But gestational, like women, like mature age women, have a, yeah, are at a higher risk of getting gestational diabetes, basically. And also Asian women, for whatever reason. So I basically, it was a double whammy for me. I was Asian and mature age, so I had it. But I tell people, like, if you see that photo of me where I lean forward like in a black top like that, I was actually 7 months pregnant with Noah. I was so incredibly big because he was, you know, there was some problems with the pregnancy which made him um, retain a lot of water in the womb. So I was, you know, really big tummy. But you couldn't tell. All the photos I took, they were cut off at like my, you know, at my chest, and like you couldn't tell I was pregnant because calves have a tendency when, you know, when you're like susceptible to like diabetes, carbs have a tendency to make you puff up, all right? But you couldn't, that did not happen when I was on a low carb diet, which is why I'm inclined to do it again. Pruritic and plagues of pregnancy, according to the internet. What does that actually do? Pruritic urticarial papules. None of that means anything to me. I've never heard of any of those words before. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, so this is dry. You can tell because it's no longer like, what do you call it, crackling. Okay, you hear the crackling, it means it's got moisture in it still. But it's not doing that anymore, so you know it's ready to come out. Let's try this. It's quite salty. God, I'm a genius. I'm gonna have to add some of this chicken. This is too salty. What did I put in that was so salty? Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar to it as well, just to balance obscure rationing. Okay, cool. It wasn't life-threatening or anything like that, was it? And look, if you've got like rock sugar, right? You could use rock sugar for this as well. Yeah, you want the chicken, maybe the soy sauce was too salty. Yeah, look, you didn't see me put much in it unless I did it inadvertently. I actually, the thick soy would not be salty, right? And I didn't use that much of it anyway, but the fish sauce might have been what tipped it over the edge. But I didn't actually put any soy sauce in it. Should have paid attention instead of like just that's what happens when you're too blasé about measuring things. I never measure anything when I cook, and now and then this happens. But yeah, you want this to be dry because it is meant to be consumed dry. It's meant to be like stored in an airtight container. You don't have to refrigerate it, right? There you go. Am I dropping frames? Yeah, I am dropping frames. What the hell is going on? Isn't fish sauce known for forming salt crystals inside itself? Is it? I don't know. Is that a problem if it does? But the original recipe calls for soy sauce, by the way, just as an FYI. It's just over the years I've weaned myself over my dependence of your Chinese dependence on soy sauce sort of things. I actually prefer using fish sauce in a lot of my dishes because I find that soy sauces, depending on the brand that you're using, can have a tendency to be overpowering if you use too much of it. Okay. So, but yeah, fish sauce is actually more intense in terms of saltiness compared to soy sauce. So you're really technically meant to use less of it. So I've got like some sugar crystals here now. Yeah, dropping frames. I don't know why. I mean, I'm using my fancy internet. Tell me if it gets worse, alright? That's really frustrating. When you're paying so much for your internet, you expect it to work okay, you know? Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitch if you want to be in the running for all the giveaways I regularly have on offer on my channel, alright? Because the software that is used to draw the winners only picks names from my Twitch audience, okay? It doesn't, I multi-stream this across to YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope, but like if you want to be in the running, you need to also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/JackieMFood, alright? Okay. Might be on Twitch side. No, it's on my side. Actually, it tells me here that I'm dropping frames. And I don't stream directly to Twitch. I stream to Restream. But if it tells me here that I'm dropping frames within my software itself, then it's on me, really. I know one or two other Aussie streamers and stuff too. Oh, is that right? Really? So they're having hype. Really? How interesting. Does that happen on a regular basis or like just now and then? Well, now I don't feel so bad, right? But still, it might just be like Australia's internet overall being really crappy, you know. Okay, this is much better now. Okay, so it's a little bit sweeter now with the extra sugar and less salty as well. I want to fry it a little bit more because some of the new bits are still a little bit white. Apparently their problem is that someone else is also using the internet. All right. See, I'm on a dedicated like internet connection, you know what? Because I've got my regular ADSL that everything else hooks up to, but my live streaming computer is separately hooked up to a dedicated modem. No, be a good boy. Are you a good boy? Hmm? Okay. Okay, so you want to let this cool down, alright? Because there's still a little bit of like, you know, you don't want to store this while it's still hot because it's going to steam up and then it's going to make everything soft and soggy, and that's not a good thing. Like for some reason the streaming stuff doesn't have priority over. Is that right? Really? Over the rest of the web? Really? How interesting. If you pay for it, you'd think you'd get priority, right? No, Hey, stop. Stop. Okay, here you go. So your exams all done, Highlands? Did you do your makeup assignment or test or whatever it was? Alright, this is done. Let's try this again. Okay. Tastes nice. I need to let this cool down, but I don't want to drag out 50 bowls, you know, because I don't want a mountain of dishes to wash up. My makeup exam's on the 11th. Alright, okay. What year are you in again? No, stop. What you doing? Okay, stuff it. Here you go. Okay, so this is the Chinese style chicken floss, okay? Like I say, let it cool down, then you can store it. And you can serve it like sprinkled on rice, on congee. You can, like I said, those buns, those Asian buns, right? You lather it with a lot of like butter and like Japanese mayo, and then sprinkle this on top. The mayo and butter helps them to stick onto the bread, right? Onto the bun, and that's is a thing. Trust me. Okay, so what we're gonna do? I've got some onion here. This is for the next lot, first year. Oh, okay, you're just a baby. Okay, so we're gonna blitz the onion next. I was going to use some lemongrass in this, but I just can't find my lemongrass at the moment. But ideally, if you had it, you use it, okay? But right now it's just onion and garlic. So it's a condiment, yeah, kinda, yeah. Okay, so onion here. I could use probably more onion, but I might actually mix fresh onion with like the dried fried shallots to give it the extra bulk, right? When I was in Kelantan, they served their fried rice with some serunding, but the Malay-style serunding, which is what I'm making now, alright? But they also sprinkle some of it on their Kelantan laksa as well. Okay, so it's very versatile. Just something that just kind of gives a little bit of a, as they put it in Kelantan, a bit of bling to their food, you know. Okay, so garlic and onion. Okay. And I'm going to throw in some curry powder, okay? I'm using a rendang curry powder here. Anything you've got lying around in your cupboard will work. Okay, so there's one way to use up any leftover chicken you've got, any leftover beef, or anything really, you know. So in goes the curry powder. Hey, no, give mama, give mama, give mama, give mama, no, what? Give mama. There you go. You good boy. I'm gonna throw in the oil, but not right now because it's still very, there's still a lot of moisture in the onion. I just want it to dry up a little while, because otherwise if you add the oil right away, it'll just start spitting everywhere. Okay, throw in the oil now. Because there's more stuff going into this, you can actually put more oil in this dish, in this particular portion, alright? Because you want the oil to brown up the onion and all that. I've got some, actually, some lemongrass powder over here, so I'll just throw a sprinkling of it in here. I don't know if all lemongrass powders are created equal, but this particular version is very intense in flavor, so I wouldn't use too much of it. It can actually end up making your food taste better, right? Because usually I tell people, like, the general rule of thumb, if you're replacing fresh with dried ingredient, is that you halve it, alright? So instead of using fresh lemongrass, you would technically use half the amount if you're using the powdered version, but it doesn't apply in this particular type of lemongrass powder. You just want a very, very little amount of it, alright? But lemongrass is fairly optional anyway, you don't really need it. It's really onion and garlic is what you want in this. Okay, so let's throw this in. It seems so very counterintuitive, potentially drying out of me. That's because it's like meant to be a condiment, like kind of like, you know how I do the fried shallots, the crispy onion, right? That's kept out of the fridge in like an airtight like container, right? So it's that same sort of like idea behind it. The beauty of this is then you don't have to refrigerate it, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I was going to say dried fish and dried like whatever, but that means nothing to you anyway. Alright, so I've got the curry powder, I've got the onion and the garlic and a little bit of lemongrass powder. Again, I'm going to put in the mushroom seasoning, alright? But remember, I'm using the mushroom seasoning because I don't have any of that chicken seasoning, which I'm such a big fan of, alright? So whatever you've got, or you can leave it out completely. You can just add a little bit of salt, right? It just adds saltiness, but the MSG in this also gives it some body as well. And what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to actually add some, where is it? Some coconut powder to this. If you've got coconut cream, use coconut cream by all means, alright? Usually I would do. I just don't want to open a whole new pack of coconut cream. So I've got some powdered coconut here. And I'm going to throw it in, okay? It kind of works as well, being because you want this dry. If you use coconut milk or coconut cream, you'll just end up having to cook this for longer to dry it out, alright? And then the other thing you want to add is some shredded coconut, desiccated coconut. Which is over here, okay, so Teflon, hey. How's your camper van? Alright, so I've got like coconut powder, right? But like I said, you can use coconut cream or coconut milk, which is how I usually actually do this. I've also thrown in some desiccated coconut, okay? And before that, it had garlic and onion and oil to saute in, a sprinkling of like lemongrass powder, and also curry powder, okay? So I was using the rempah rendang, which is a rendang curry spice mix. So you use any kind of curry powder mix, okay? And if you want a more curry, intensely curry flavor, you can use more of this as well. And again, guys, sorry, Noah is very adamant on making as much noise as possible, so that's him playing in the background. How's everyone today? Where's Wanganui? Is that the same island where you're based in, or I'm so bad? Alright, I'm gonna throw in some sugar next, alright? Okay. I need more sugar really. Okay. I'll put like 2 tablespoons of sugar in here. And again, you can put some salt in here, alright? I'm inclined to actually throw in some of the fish sauce again, but I'll taste test it first, okay? Just to make sure I don't get carried away like I did the last time. I don't know if you can pick up that sizzling noise, which means there's still a lot of moisture in it. You want to fry it till it stops sizzling, okay? North Island. Alright. This does not taste remotely salty at all. I'm going to put in more of the mushroom powder / chicken powder. And I'm going to I'll add a bit of white pepper anyway. And it doesn't taste curry flavorish enough. I'm going to throw in more of the curry powder, okay? Ideally, you really want to actually like, I don't generally like sprinkling curry powder over my food like this, okay? I like to cook it from the start so it's well blended and doesn't taste gritty at the end of it, okay? So do what I say, don't do what I do. I'm just going to throw in a little bit more oil as well. Cover this up. Sammy, hey, chicken floss, yeah. That's the Chinese chicken floss, so it's still a little bit warm. So that we made up. You can see the steam collecting. I should really put it in like a flat pan or something. You can actually throw it in the oven to help it dry up some more, by the way, guys, right? And now this is the Malay chicken floss, what we call serunding. And the Malay version is a lot more interesting. It's got a lot more stuff happening in there. But essentially what you're really doing is like a flossy curry, but dry. There's Noah building a house in the back, feels like it. Hey, Noah, what you doing, hey? Are you a naughty monkey, hey? Are you a naughty papa? What you want? You want to eat? You want to eat? You want biscuit? Come. Yeah, you want biscuit? Alright. Sub. Hey, Darkness. Thank you for subbing. Hey. Sun gone and done it. What is that English? No, it's so hot today. Sun gone and done as yet. Oh, is that where you are? Dunedin, right? Yeah. Okay. Are you guys on the same island? I don't even know. I'm so bad. I know nothing about New Zealand. Some hype. Yeah, I know, right? Way cool. Let's taste test this a bit. Alright, this is not remotely salty at all. I can taste the sweetness, so I'm going to throw in some fish sauce, okay? But you can use soy sauce, like I said. That's thanks to the Summer Fruit Festival last year. Oh, really? Dark massage. I wasn't even on Twitch back then. Were you at the event itself, or were you like, did you just see me online? So I did a bunch of videos, because I was ambassador, by the way, if anyone's wondering what this is about. I was ambassador of an event here in Sydney called the Summer Fruit Festival over in Darling Harbour. It ran across 3 or 4 days. So I basically did a whole series of live videos on Facebook back then, Facebook Live, all using like fruit and vegetables. There's a Summer Fruit Festival. Yeah, that was last year. It's going to be daylight for about another hour and a half down here. What time is it? I was one of the peeps that ran. Is that right? Oh, right. Which stand was this? How did it go for you anyway? I was amazed at how much, how big the event was, considering it was their first time. I know, right, Devlot? Yeah, you say it. I'll say it too much. Damn it. Now I'll be left wondering who it is. Alright, this is really quite still soggy, okay? And it's still not salty enough. No, it's my famous last words, because I'll say, oh, it needs more salt, and then I'll be like, oh damn, it's too salty. But it does need more salt. You know what? Come, baby. I'm gonna throw in some of this ayam seasoning thing. Yeah, I've showed you guys this a couple of times now. This is from the fish sauce and the this ayam seasoning sauce, obviously, are both from Ayam, right? They sent it out to me, and Ayam sponsored one of my recent giveaways where 10 of you guys got a set of like different types of Ayam sauces. So thank you to Ayam Australia. Ayam is actually one of the most well-respected brands when I was growing up in Asia. Alright, so if ever you're in doubt as to what brand of different types of sauces to get, Ayam is one of those that is, you know, is a safe bet. Alright, let me just change this out. More salt. More salt. I know, right? I like my salt. Look, this wouldn't be a big deal if you were eating this with a mountain of rice, okay? So you could get away with making things fairly salty, because like, you know, it's a condiment and the salt helps kind of like extend its shelf life anyway. But because I'm doing the whole low carb thing, I just have to be a little bit careful with how much salt Ayam say. I didn't know I said Ayam just now, no. If he did, it would be a pure accident. I'm trying to teach him to say amen, alright? Because I'm trying to teach him to say grace. And the best he can muster is A. Which is actually pretty cute. Now I've got a damn fly buzzing around in my apartment. I don't know like where it came from. It's very annoying. Okay, let's try this again. You can still hear the sizzling a bit, right? It's because of the moisture in the onion and all the extra stuff that went into this. But this is more mushy than the last lot. Grace, yes, say as in like, come on, Highlinks. It's all that communist teaching. They're teaching you at uni. Saying grace, like you know, praying at meal time. All right, let's try this. I'm not the kind of person that says grace. That's fair enough. I won't hold it against you. It still needs more salt. Damn it. All right, let's throw some more in, okay? So I try and refrain from adding too much like liquid stuff into this, but we're gonna just put a few more dashes in here. Simply because, like I said, the idea is ultimately to get a dry mixture here. I watched someone do about a 8-second salt pot. Oh, 8 second. Oh. Did you see them eat it or? No, my church your favorite personal worship of God. That's fair enough. I think people are generally suspicious of institutionalized religion, you know. I was too growing up. Because, I think everyone has had a bad experience with like hypocrisy in like churches and that sort of stuff. So I totally get it. Yep, and they said they didn't have enough salt. No way. Were they a Kiwi or? It actually tastes to me like it needs more coconut, like as in like it needs to taste more coconutty, you know. So I might actually still keep adjusting this a bit more. Let's throw it in. Samoan, all right. Wow. So again, this is like coconut powder, all right, guys. You don't have to use coconut powder. I used to use coconut cream in here. It just takes longer to dry it out. There are a lot of Samoans in New Zealand, right, guys? As long as this doesn't taste too dry, I think Noah could get into it. If it's too dry, like he'll just get stuck in his throat. But I can see like sprinkling some on his rice because he likes eating rice. But yeah, at some point you can actually spread this on a baking tray and throw it in the oven and let it dry out some more like this. I'm on Murdercam free Wi-Fi. I'm unsure how long it will last. Is it like pretty decent Wi-Fi? Like the speeds are okay? Could you live stream using that Wi-Fi? Or because New Zealand, I know you guys are supposed to have like world-class like internet, right? Unlike us Aussies here. All my Kiwi friends here in Australia are always complaining about how bad Australia's internet is compared to what you guys get back in Kiwi land. Is this sacrilege? Webtoons, Adventures, Commandments, viewer. Let me have a look. Missed that Kiwi question. Oh, your internet. I was asking what your internet was like. Adventures of God. How about changing the font? Oh, that's quite funny. This is a stream. Just stream so the data lasts longer. Sorry, I'm missing your beautiful face. Oh. Well, that's just not good enough. So this particular version, like I said, you want to brown it a little, okay? It's meant to be a little bit roasty, whereas the other one, the Chinese version, is meant to be just kind of like, yeah, pretty mild all round. And that here is pretty good, but a little pricey. So you actually have to pay on top of like, do you have to like pay separately for your internet at the campsite, or how does it work? I kind of thought like it would be all free, New Zealand being all socialist and all that. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, it tastes much better now. But if you missed my mention of this in the past, right, this ayam seasoning sauce, if you read the ingredients, it's a mixture of essentially fish sauce, soya sauce, and sugar. Okay, so it's a nice balance of the key sauces you would need in a stir fry anyway. So I reckon this would work really well, like instead of like, you know, having a couple of dashes of this and that. and sprinkling some sugar in your stir fry. Just use this. I really like it. Most motor cams have about 200 megabyte free. Okay, that's not bad. Per day or like for like. Noah, what you doing? I'm gonna give about 1 hour of the stream just listening. From 200, that's pretty bad. I thought you'd be able to stretch it more than that. No, wait, shush. Okay? Mommy's gonna eat, okay? Mommy's gonna try and eat this. Okay, that's about done. It's really nice. This one, like, I made more of this because, like I said, it got too salty and I had to add more meat to this. Now, I wish I hadn't. I'm sure when I find out again. You dog. Okay, done. Noah? Go watch your show for 5 minutes, okay? You wanna go watch your show? He's not buying it. Let me put some things away before he knocks them over. Now, you wanna eat? Okay, you wanna eat? Okay, let's try and feed some of this to Noah. Okay, Noah, you wanna eat? Okay, here's your rice. It might be because the rice is quite dry. I'm just gonna throw a bit of this on his rice, right? Like this. Okay, so this is how you would usually eat it, okay? Let's see if he'll buy into it. I'm just gonna mix it up. Okay, come, let's try this. Let's try this. You try this? Here you go. Try it. Try it, it's nice, baby. Try it. Damn it, he won't even try it. Does he like spicy things? Yes, he does, actually. So he'll eat a curry, no problem, but he wants the sauce, you see. He looks at this and he looks at all these bitsy things and he doesn't like it. Try it. Try it, Noe. Damn it. Okay, let me try it, okay, without the rice. Okay. And some of this here, and some of the Chinese version. Alright, so that's the Chinese version, and that's the Malay version. The Malay version looks burnt, but it's actually okay. That's a no, definitely. You can play around with the flavors a little bit, right? You can make it sweeter if you want. The Chinese one is very savory because of the fish sauce I put in it. Malay version is a little bit more interesting. Tell you what, Highlinks, I can send some of this out to you. I'll vacuum pack a sachet of each of these, right? And I'll send that out with the tea that I was going to send out to you. If I get round to the post office in the next few days. Sammy is more amazing than the lot. Yeah. Alright. So there you go, guys. There we go. This works well, like if you've got leftover, I don't know, if you I'd love to try it. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Alright, I'll send it out to you. And tell me what you think, alright? But yeah, they're pretty basic. So like I said, you can actually like it's this the Malay version tastes to me like it would have made a big difference if I'd actually added the lemongrass, right? That'll give it a little bit of like that crunchiness from the lemongrass and also added an extra layer of flavor to it. But it's fine as it is otherwise. But the Chinese one is just very savory, like it just tastes like salty chicken. But I could put more sugar, but again, I'm mindful of the whole carb because it's low carb, low sugar. You see, so I don't want to get carried away. Usually I'm quite heavy-handed with the sugar. Yeah. All right. So let me try and organize that. I'll send some out to you in the next few days. All right. What are you telling? Heilings is a terrible mod. Yeah, I think she's still traumatized from that time she banned this person on one of my chats, my campfire. All right, guys. Well, happy birthday, Heilings. Enjoy yourself tomorrow night. And for the rest of you, don't forget I've got campfire stories at 10 p.m. Alright, I know you Kiwi people always complain it's too late, but try and stay up for it. Deathlot, I know you can do it. Don't use up all your internet during the day, then you can stick around for campfire stories. Alright. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for sticking around. I don't know if but I kept dropping frames. It looks like I kept dropping frames, so this was a bad internet broadcast. Anyway, thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow night. For those of you who can make it. All right. Thanks that lot. And haters, thanks for following. And yeah. And Viet Gorilla, thanks for following. And thanks again, Dark Messiah, for subbing. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you again. Ciao.